Hey guys, Rexasaur here, and welcome to episode 3 of the Red Emperor. In the last episode, we'd formed the Kingdom of Lithuania, which gives us quite a few things that we need to do, continue on from last episode. So the first thing that King Zivimbundas is going to do is basically ask and offer vassalization to two of the provinces of basically Prussia, and then hope that they join, which they both do, because they are de jure part of the kingdom. So as the de jure liege, we can ask counts to join our kingdom, and they might or might not say yes. Usually they say yes, because we're powerful and everything. And in this case, they say yes, so we can give them give the vassalage to the Duke, who is directly under us, which gives a better form of government. We're also going to ask that tiny province there of Memel, who's allowed. We're also going to look at the map mode. We can see Wendish Empire is basically what we're going to try and form. It's the empire that encompasses Poland and Lithuania and Pomerania. So our next target really is to get Poland, which is what we're going to focus on in this episode, the conquest of Poland. So the first thing we're going to do is try and get Plock back, which we lost in a revolt last episode, if you remember, along with most of Prussia. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to wage war, join our armies together, and attack the dukedom at this point of, I think it's Upper Poland or something like that, who owns Plock. So we continue our war. We actually have enough men to assault the holding, which I then decide that's a bad idea. But actually we still do it for some reason, so it's obviously not that bad of an idea. Also, we get another son, a second son, which we are going to call Valarius, because I think it sounds cool. Literally no other reason other than that for the name of our second son. So right now we have two sons, Cyrillus the Younger and Valerius. So we continue our war in Plock. We have one of their allies who lives up north. He's basically taking over our northern counties. So we're going to have to send the army up. We have a load of men, so it's not too hard. We defeat them, we victory that, and then we have to go for Plock again, because in that time Plock was retaken, which isn't too bad, but you know, it's just time consuming really. Also, during this time, Lower Poland, the Duchy of Lower Poland, has decided to, or Lesser Poland, I can't remember what they're called, has gone to war with something. I think it joined the war, but we won for Plock, and we're now going to declare war on the county of Saracko-Leczyski. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a really long name, and it's really Polish, and I apologise for butchering it. But after Plock, we're basically going to continue our way down. The long-term goal, I mean, apart from taking the whole of Poland, is just to get a foothold into managing to get the Duchy of Silesia, which is the big duchy you can see at the bottom of the screen right now. But right now I'm really trying to get a foothold on the other side of the major river, you can see, because that means that we can attack them without having any major river crossing penalties, which is really kind of a frustrating part of military campaigns in this game, is those crossings. But we have loads of men, mostly from our tribal vassal levies, which we're going to lose at some point in this episode, due to the direction that we're trying to go within the government of that county. But so we win this war, and that allows us to get that foothold in Poland that we really needed. And basically what I'm going to do now, what Zivimbundas kind of really wants to do is change his government type to feudal, which is the same as the West, but to do that he needs to build a lot of hill forts, and he needs to upgrade it to a level 4. Currently there is no level, we don't have enough money to even build level 1. Luckily we get the nice little event where we can mint some coins to get that though, which is exactly what he wants. Money is not a problem. I managed to get the money to rightfully create this kingdom. What is the difference between making the money for a fort? You will go, mint more coins, debase its value even more. I do not care for what the nobles think, for what the merchants think. I must build castles to rival those of Karloman. So King Zivimbundas is going to build his Earth Hill fort, thanks to debasing the value of his coin once again. I'm pretty sure there's no repercussions in the long run for this, except for the loss of prestige, so it's not too much of a bad thing. Next thing going to happen is that he's going to wage war on one of the northern provinces. This province is part of the kingdom, the Zhou kingdom of Lithuania, but for some reason would not join the kingdom. So Zivimadas is going to have to attack it from, you know, to get the general county back in check. And that's not going to be done really, you know, hard, to be honest. However, one thing that happens at first is that one of our chiefs asks us to join his faction to press a claim. The next is that our firstborn son, Cyrillus Palemonatis, is got a plot to kill our secondborn son, his brother, Valerius. And this is something I actually debated allowing this to happen, because it would mean that in the future nothing would like the succession would be completely secure. But I then went to the idea of thought of, if Cyrillus was to die, I would have no heir, and that would just be bad, especially since I'm not really having that many children. So I decided to prevent Cyrillus from doing this. The war, however, is going pretty well. Whilst this is all going on, we get 100% very quickly, and that is great. So we disband our troops, and I get another report whilst I'm upgrading my hill fort that factions have arisen, and most of this is due to one man, not this guy, but this guy, High Chief Igor of Pinsk. So he's a problem. And one of the big factors beneath it is probably because he's a completely different culture to us. He's not a Slavic, and he's not Romovan, and he's not Lithuanian or Polish or whatever. He's actually part of the steppes, and that is one of the reasons why. So I placate him, give him some titles and stuff, and then I decide, you know what, let's just kill him. Let's see what plot I can get, and probably try and just get rid of him. These lands belong to us, the masters of the steppe, not this so-called king of Lithuania. He stole this land, conquered it with sword and unjust blood, rather than true rightful ownership. This Palemonatis, they are all sick. His father was sick to the bone, bloodthirsty like the Huns of old, taking from his kin like a demon. This one, though, is sicker. Money is his master, it corrupts him, draws him to the devil, and will lead this land to ruin. I will have none of this. So, we declare this plot, and it turns out that loads of people want to join, and it's going to be very soon that we actually get to get rid of this guy, pretty instantly in fact, which is very rare for a plot to happen so quickly, and it's also very rare for it to succeed so well. As you're going to see from the coming event, he just dies, no one knows, no one cares. Great. Usually in Crusader Kings 2 this doesn't happen. Usually we get a lot of backlash, get the Kinslayer trait or whatever. This time we would never have got the Kinslayer trait, but still managed to kill him off, which is great. Later on, one of the neighbouring Khanates, who was at one point our ally, I would like to note, decides to go into our neighbouring county, well, into one of our counties, and raid. So we decide to gather up our army, totally destroy them, and go back to our lands, pretty much. Chase them down, and then just leave them. Then, as I accidentally zoom out, I see Carpathia. The Empire of Carpathia has been made by the ex-Bulgarian king, who is now Emperor of Carpathia. So this is literally, I was saying in the last episode with the coming of Bulgaria, this is a huge part, is going to be a very big enemy. So now what's going to happen is that Zivimadas is going to declare war on Silesia. This is basically owning more than half of Poland right now, and would basically, if we win this, be such a great thing for the Kingdom of Lithuania, and a great step towards becoming the empire, because it's so much of Poland in one, in one duchy, which is great. And as I go in, I can't see any of the armies there, so I'm wondering where it is. And I go towards the capital, and I see they have a very big army, and it's separated by quite a big river, which is a bitch. So what I'm going to do is just siege out. I'm going to siege the neighbouring province, and then I'm going to try and look around. I'm also very tempted to raise a tribal army at this stage, just to join our forces together, and I decide I have enough money to do that, so I do. Join an extra 2,500 men is amazing to have. So we're just going to join both the armies together. As soon as they join up, we win the siege. We're going to join the two armies, get nearly 5k men, and what we're going to do is we're going to go around. I'm just looking here at what exactly the provinces are to go, and so we're going to just go around, go through Bohemia, and then as they're trying to run away from us or whatever, we're going to go around, try and get them in a non-river battle, which is great. And once again, I sort of make sure there's no river battle going to happen, which there isn't, which is fantastic. It means we're going to get even flat terrain. We have the numerical and military advantage over them, so we win pretty safely. We actually kill every single one of them, which is rare in a battle. And then I see that the neighbouring Polish duchy actually wages war on them as well to take those provinces, which is very annoying because it means that it could end up bad. However, because we had a subjugation war, their war completely means nothing. So as soon as we subjugate Silesia, which we successfully do, they just bugger off, which is fun. So we have the whole of Silesia, and right now you can see me upgrading the hill fort once again to a reinforced hill fort, which is fantastic. So what's going to happen now is a range of banishment, because when I took the Duchy of Silesia, I captured most of his family, and off screen I plotted to kill him and managed successfully to do so without too many repercussions. But that led with a lot of people in the prisons who I couldn't actually ransom, so it just ended up with me being like banishing them to get money, which ended up being no money at all pretty much. Also, right in front of me, I don't know if you saw it really quickly, you might have to go back in the video to really see it, but the Polish area, the duchy on top of Silesia, actually broke into all individual counties, really out of the blue, and I sort of had to take a double take when I was playing through this, and I was like, oh shit, great. So basically that allows us, because of this error in succession for the Polish, to just go out and basically take it. Which is fantastic, so that's exactly what I want to happen. So it's great, because I just literally was just going, oh, I really wish I could take some of these provinces, and then they just broke apart, which is great. So I waged two wars, one for Czerzak, I think, and the other one for one of the provinces next to Silesia, the one of Poznań, as you can see that. So the first war goes pretty well. I take Czerzak pretty easily. Also make myself a poet out of nowhere. So that was an easy victory going on. The wars lasted so long that I sort of accelerated them for easy viewing. In fact, this one surrenders straight away, and most of the wars stop because a lot of these Polish counts actually have allies in Russia, which is very strange. So I win this war, I win the other war as well for Poznań, so I get rid of my army in Plock easily, and as you can see, the stone hill fort is finally succeeded, and now all I need is tribal organization to be at maximum, and then I can enact feudal rule. The other thing that Zivimbudas is going to have to try and do is to reform the faith. So what he's going to do is that he's going to have to get rid of the Slavic faith and put in the Removan one next, which is exactly what the Catholics are trying to do with their own bishops. How dare you! You think yourself all high and mighty, you pompous Frankish bastard. You come to my kingdom, seek out my hospitality, speak to my children, and try to spread your heresy? Let me teach you how the people of Lithuania respond to a threat to their livelihood. Let Carloman hear that I, Zivimbudas Palemonatis of Lithuania, spits on his god and his priest. So, quite a forceful reaction by Zivimbudas. He actually imprisons, then executes the priest. Much to the sadness of the priest, I'm pretty sure, and priest's family, most of the French nobility, who thought, probably from stories from Cornwall, that they could maybe change the minds of the Lithuanian people, but this is not the case. Lithuania will remain removed until I reform it, which is one of the big plans that Zivimbudas has in the long run. But most of the big thing is to form the empire. That is the number one goal of Zivimbudas. He wants to walk in his father's footsteps. Well, he wants to keep his father's dreams alive, really, because his father didn't manage to get that close to it. Something that Zivimbudas remembers quite fondly, I'm pretty sure. So we waged this war, and this war is actually really annoying because, as you can see, the army down there actually kept coming back every time I was taking it. This war actually lasted a good 20 minutes of in-game time because it kept going back and forth. And at this point I realised, well, why don't I just siege this bit out and wait for the army to come back, which it does, as you can see here, and just kill that army while it's sieging it, and then I'll go up north, because I couldn't get the war score up high enough to do it. In fact, you'll see this is the only province that I need, which should give me 100% already, but as soon as I take back all the provinces, I'm still like under by quite a substantial amount, which is really irritating. So I just go up and say, well, Pskov is obviously part of my kingdom, so that must be kind of it. Also, I don't know if you saw quickly, but one of my courtiers fancies me, and I was like, oh, hell nah. I'm pretty sure Zivimbudas at this age, he's just past 50. He's quite a pious chap in the terms of, like, his wife and his family are close to him. He's not going to be the kind to flirt around, but I'm pretty sure in the future we might have a very different kind of view on this. So, here we have Lithuania in its massive gap. We can actually form Poland at this stage. As soon as we've got the kingdom, as soon as we've got much more of the area surrounding it and start going into Pomerania, we can actually form the empire, which is our goal for the future episodes. Our another two goals is to get feudalism. We want to become a feudal country, and we also want to reform the faith. Now, you're about to see I'm going to change to the religious map mode. We only need one more holy sites, and there's actually one in Pomerania. As you can see, the little islands on the south, which is the ones we're going to aim for, because as soon as we get that, we can form both the empire and reform the faith, hopefully at the same time. Will we manage to get it as Zivimbudas? That's a completely different question, and one that is very interesting. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll join me for episode 4 of the Red Emperor. During the early to middle years of Zivimbudas' reign as King of Lithuania, the realm enjoyed a time of greatness which had gone unseen for hundreds of years. Expansions into Poland, trade with Cornwall, and peace with the Great Khanate of Khazaria meant that the population of Lithuania had little to fear or complain about. However, little did they know that the policy which their king was trying to enforce would change their way of life forever.